Coming out of college, no one told me that this is how real life is. No one seems to have an answer or a solution on how to fix the clear issue pertaining to the true effectiveness of college degrees in the job market and how it translates coming out of college, right? Because either you're overqualified for a position, which is what they'll tell you, or you don't have enough experience, right? So it seems to be a lose-lose. What did I go to college for? What did I get this degree?
Well, oftentimes business education today, and I see it all the time, kids come out of college, the best colleges, Wharton and Harvard and Stanford and some of the great business schools, and they'll come out and they won't have practical experience. There's too many case studies that aren't practical.
You know, we ask kids that are 16 to 18 years old to make $100,000 debt decisions when they go off to university. And they're not prepared for that. They don't know what they're getting themselves into. They just assume, okay, I'm going to pay 4 years of education at $25,000 a pop, and when I come out the other side, somehow I'll be able to pay it back.
More than 44 million Americans owe $1.4 trillion out in outstanding student loans.
The catch is, in order to go back to school, she has to take out
people
loans.
and
a woman
many
students just like Jessica are stuck in jobs they could have gotten without
recession.
An awful lot of it is self-taught. It isn't necessary to pay $30,000 or $35,000 a year to go to some big name school to get the education at all.
Mistakes and weaknesses.
Young people that are borrowing money they don't have to study things that don't matter, to find jobs that don't exist. And we act as if this entire cycle works, the cycle of indebtedness.
How does the increasing cost of college tuition and student loan debt affect the perceived value of a college degree? What are the viable alternatives to traditional college education, and how do we do a better job of promoting these alternative paths? In what ways does traditional college education need to adapt to remain relevant in a rapidly changing job market? These are very important questions we need to answer as a nation. Welcome back to another episode of Ruling Class Podcast, and of course, I'm your host, Didi, back up in this bitch with another video. Please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. Just a year ago, I graduated from the very first Master of Public Service degree program in the nation and one of the most prestigious and unique programs in the world. Yet here I am, over a year later, more than 150 job applications, almost 24 interviews, and countless confusing experiences, and I'm still without a job. And to be honest, I feel like someone lied to me about this whole college thing, and I really feel a way about it, to be honest. This video might get me in trouble, but I mean, it's too late for that now. We here, so let's talk about it. College is an institution steeped in tradition and has been revered as, the gateway to success for generations. We've all been told to go to college, get a good job, start a family, right, and live happily ever after. But times are changing, and I would even argue that times have changed already. And so is our perception of higher education. I would love to share with you all what I've experienced since graduating. I really would. But first, let's begin with, tracing the evolution of college and its transformation over the years. The origin of college can be traced back to the ancient civilizations, right, where centers of learning and education began to emerge. Except the modern concept of college as an institution of higher education, right, that didn't start until medieval Europe. One of the earliest and most influential examples of college was the University of Bologna, which was founded in the year 1088 in the area what is now known as Italy, right? It became a prominent center for legal studies and established a model that would shape the future of higher education. The University of Paris, which was founded around the same time, focused on theology and philosophy, further establishing the collegiate system. These early colleges were not like the institutions we know today, right? They were completely different. They were more, akin to like communities of scholars and students who gathered to exchange knowledge and engage in intellectual pursuits, primarily talking about things like religion, right? Liberal arts and philosophy. As time went on, colleges started to expand their offerings and became more specialized, right? So in other words, they grew and, started to implement more majors, what we know today to be majors.
College graduation has never been more valuable than it is today.
The Renaissance and Enlightenment period saw a surge in establishment of universities and colleges across Europe, which was a focus on science, literature, and humanities, right? So the Industrial Revolution brought about significant changes in the purpose and structure of colleges. The need for specialized skills and technical expertise led to the creation of technical colleges and institutes catering to the demands of a rapidly changing society. According to my research, the world's first technical college was widely considered to be the École Polytechnique, established in France. It was founded on March 11, 1794, during the French Revolution. The École Polytechnique was initially conceived as a military engineering school and played a significant role in training engineers for the French army. It aimed to provide a comprehensive education in science, mathematics, and engineering disciplines. The institution's founding marked the milestones in technical education and served as a model for subsequent technical colleges and institutes around the world. But specifically here in the United States, colleges began to emerge during the colonial era, right? Harvard College was founded in 1636. That was actually the first institution of higher education established in North America. Other Ivy League universities such as Yale, Princeton, and Columbia, came after, shaping the landscape of American higher education. The very first technical college in the United States is the Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, or the RPI, which was founded by Stephen Van Rensselaer in 1824. Over time, colleges continued to evolve and adapt to the changing needs of society. They diversified their fields of study, introduced professional programs, and expanded their reach through online education and global partnerships. The exact number of college majors may vary depending on the institution, of course, but there are over 1,200 different majors offered by accredited colleges and universities in the United States, with hundreds of majors to choose from each college. Today, colleges and universities are a cornerstone of education systems worldwide, providing a wide range of academic disciplines, research opportunities, and professional training. The benefits of attending colleges are undeniable, right? Let's start with income potential, right? Studies consistently show that on average, higher levels of education are correlated with higher income levels over one's career or job opportunities. Many professions and industries require specific qualifications and degrees, making it more challenging for somebody who didn't go to college or graduate from college to enter certain fields, right? Or career advancement. College graduates often have more opportunities for more career advancement due to the fact that many higher level positions and leadership roles require, unfortunately, a higher level of education and expertise. You can go to job stability, right? That's another one. During economic downturns or periods of high unemployment, individuals with higher levels of education may have an advantage in retaining employment or even personal satisfaction, right? While not solely tied to career outcomes, studies have shown that individuals with a college education tend to report higher levels of job satisfaction. So in other words, you're pretty much able to choose or have more flexibility with choosing the field that you want to go into, right? And college even benefits you in other ways like personal growth and development, networking, right? Increased critical thinking skills. You get to meet people and build relationships, maybe even meet your husband or your wife, right? But then there's this other side to college, right? With rising tuition costs and concerns about student loan debt, some argue that college is nothing more than an expensive scam.
Hi, Charlie. I remember a while back when I first started listening to you, you were talking about you were writing a book about why your kids shouldn't go to college. And
That's right.
I remember thinking, wow, that's really controversial. But now I have been awakened.
It's called The College Scam, and it's intentionally written. It's written as a 10-count indictment against college, as if I was presenting this to a jury to try to persuade you, because you're right. Most people think college is wonderful. I'll riff on this for just a second. If you follow me, you kind of know this whole kind of deal that I think about for college. College is right for some people. I'd say 5% of the population should go to college. 95% should not. Most people, if you may be a doctor or a lawyer or engineer, most people don't go to college for that reason. Most people go to college to go study the humanities, where they learn to hate themselves, to study sociology, where they learn to hate everybody, or they study some other unspecified thing where they learn to hate the country.
The average cost of tuition fees for a 4-year degree at a public in-state college in the United States ranges from around $10,000 to $20,000 per year. But this estimate can be even higher for out-of-state students, right? Typically ranging from $20,000 to $35,000 per year and $35,000 to $50,000 per year in private colleges. Peter Thiel, the co-founder of PayPal and an influential entrepreneur, and many others, right, have been very vocal about their skepticism towards the traditional college system. Right? Peter specifically has argued that higher education, particularly obtaining a college degree, may not always be the best path for everyone, right? But this is not what you always hear.
You know, it's an extremely corrupt system we have at this point. We have an education bubble. In the US, we have $1 trillion of student debt. To a first approximation, this has gone to pay for $1 trillion worth of lies about the value of the education people have received.
Malcolm Gladwell, a well-known author and journalist, has raised questions as well about the value and necessity of a college degree in certain circumstances, right? He has argued that success in many fields is not solely dependent on obtaining a degree from a prestigious institution.
Penn State, right? Both in the same state. One's Ivy League, one is a state school. Right? There are actually lots of kids. There's a very large pool of kids in the state of Pennsylvania who get into both schools. And there is a very large pool of kids who get into Penn and choose to go to Penn State as a result, right? What happens when you look at their salaries 10 and 20 and 30 years out? No difference. What elite schools are selection effect institutions masquerading as treatment effect institutions, right? They're modeling agencies.
Gladwell believes that factors such as individual talents, personal drive, and practical skills, right? I think all things that should be pointed in the direction of common sense, can sometimes be more influential in achieving success than formal education, right? And for me personally, since graduating from college last year, I've experienced 5 major things during my job search. Confusion. I was told out of college that having a master's degree would significantly increase my chances of getting a job. And, if the degree is economically relevant, then it would increase my chances even more. Well, that is why I chose to pursue a career in public service, because it is extremely versatile. And the program that I attended even allowed me, to gain experience in 3 unique ways before graduating, right? With the very first way being something called a practicum, right? Which is a closely mentored team-based project in the States of America, right? And then the second way is something called the International Public Service Project, or the IPSP, which is an individual experience out of the country, right? And then a capstone, right, which is in the States once again, which is an in-depth on-site project focused on understanding and transforming complex systems. Well, since graduating, I've applied for more than 150 jobs, but never heard back from 90% of them. I've interviewed for more than 20 jobs this past year, and following the "We appreciate the interest you showed in joining our team, but after careful consideration and review of all applications, we regret to inform you that despite being a strong candidate, you are not selected for the position at this time." Right? I think we've all received an email like that before. And after this email, I've emailed every single employer thanking them for the opportunity and asking them for feedback, advice, ways to improve, or something I should change going forward to better my chances. And with the exception of 2 employers, of all the job interviews I've had, I never received a return email, period, at all. Every single director and or hiring committee simply ignored the email or simply didn't respond to me. No one ever gave me constructive feedback, so I was and have been left in the dark since I've started this process, right? Vagueness. So after the first 6 interviews, and I was realizing that nobody was returning my emails when I would ask them for feedback, something I started to do at the end of these job interviews going forward after my 6th interview is at the end when they asked me, "Hey, do you have any questions for us?" One of the questions I asked people was, "Hey, what skill set and or experience could I have had that would have made me a stronger candidate," right? So I put the ball in their field. And I get nothing. I lie to you not. Every single time, what I've been told every single time was, "Demetrius, we really don't know what to tell you." Or, "Demetrius, there's really nothing more that you could have had." Or, "Demetrius, you really did a great job." Or, "Oh, that's such a great question, but Demetrius, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not sure if there is anything." Like, I'm not perfect. I know I lack experience in many areas, but that's what they would always tell me. How does it help me? Unprofessionalism. I went to one job interview and I was 30 minutes early, and the person interviewing me was 5 minutes late. He was unprepared. He had no clue what room we were going to be interviewing in. Once he chose some random cluttered room full of old desks and, with stacks of papers and file cabinets, he began asking me questions. One of the questions he asked me was the very common, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" Right? And so I told him, and after I answered him, I essentially told him I would love to be working for the company, to be helping students and people within my target population. The man literally told me, "Demetrius, I hear what you said, but I don't believe you." And I've never had someone tell me that. I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, that's what I want to do. And he was like, "I couldn't help but notice that you've applied for a couple of different positions in this department. So you seem to be casting a wide net, and I don't think that you'd be dedicated to this role." That's what he told me. That's literally what he told me. Then towards the end of the interview, right, he asked me did I have any questions for him, and I asked him about his story and asked him if he was happy in the role that he had. And he literally couldn't tell me yes. He kept going around the question. He kept saying things like, I'm where I need to be, or I'm where I'm supposed to be. So I'm interviewing to work here, and you can't even tell me that you're happy working here. Okay, whatever. I never heard back from them. Disappointment. All of these experiences and many other experiences that I haven't talked about that I'm pretty sure would blow y'all's minds, or maybe some of you all already knew what it was like out here in the real world. Well, it's blown my mind, right? But all of these experiences have shaped my newfound perception of a college degree and what its true value may just be in real life. I did my research on every single job that I did not get and I was not hired for. I kept up with these positions, right? And you say, what do you mean? Well, I wanted to know who they hired in place of me, right? I wanted to just do my research on that person and just maybe learn and, grow and understand what experience I need to gain. I just want to note this because it's an observational fact. Every single job that I applied for that I was not hired for, a white applicant was chosen for the role. Just an observational fact, once again. And I also say this because affirmative action, the recent infiltration and rise of DEI, or diversity, equity, and inclusion, and quote-unquote reverse racism has caused many people to argue that minorities and other marginalized groups are getting unfair advantages in college and even in the job market. And as someone who has been interviewing and applying for jobs for almost a year strong now, I can assure you that 100% of all the jobs that I've applied for, even the ones I wasn't interviewed for, were led by a white individual. And almost all members of the hiring committee in every interview that I did get were white people. And I'm willing to say about 99% of them were all white people. So I'm not really seeing this quote-unquote unfair advantage that people speak of. Just being honest, right? Helplessness. This brings me to my last point, right? Coming out of college, no one told me that this is how real life is. No one seems to have an answer or a solution on how to fix the clear issue pertaining to the true effectiveness of college degrees in the job market and how it translates coming out of college, right? Because either you're overqualified for a position, which is what they'll tell you, or you don't have enough experience, right? So it seems to be a lose-lose. What did I go to college for? Why did I get this degree? Why did I gain the experience that I gained in college, right? It causes many individuals who worked hard to earn these degrees to feel helpless and highly discouraged when you have been programmed to believe one thing just to experience something completely different once real life hits you, right? Now, would I go as far to say that college is a scam? No, I wouldn't say that, but it is a business, and like any business, there are, loopholes and money has to be made to keep the business going. And many of these colleges and many of their college degrees are useful, but many of them are just fillers in order to attract more vulnerable students coming out of high school who have a passion for something that doesn't need to be a college major or even a career worth spending $100,000 to pursue. Right? It could literally just be something you do in your spare time or do something as a side job, right? It's simply an expensive hobby that many students are paying, hundreds of thousands of dollars for every year. Me personally, I would suggest that students do more research on the degree that they're looking to, pursue and the potential career options for that degree and the pros and cons of going to college for that career, because you may not even have to go to college for it, right? Another thing I would say is to learn basic but very important technical and life skills, how to work with your hands, side hustles, how to invest your money, building credit and networking. Because the truth is, and a lot of people won't tell you this, it's not always what you know. And it's not even always who you know, right? I heard this from somebody and I never forgot it. Sometimes it's how you know the person or where you know the person from that you know. And the hardest truth of all is, for most careers, you don't really need a college degree to be successful nowadays, despite what many people may tell you. Thank you all for tuning in to watch today's video, man. It really means a like if you can just hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel once again. I just thought that this story would be important to share as it pertains to my experiences with college, because yes, I heard before that college is a scam. I heard that you don't have to go to college. I heard that people go to college for multiple different reasons. People get degrees that they can't use. I heard all these stories, and I was very precise and particular about the degree or the field that I decided to go after. So even after getting a meaningful degree and an economically relevant degree, I still find myself in a situation that many other people are in, right? And I don't mean to talk like this is the end or as if like I have no hope. No, I have a great future. And I believe that my degree will help me get there to an extent as well. But I just don't want, I want somebody who is thinking about going to college, right? Or who may be in college right now and contemplating if you need the degree to be successful. And I'm here to tell you that you don't, right? I'm not telling you to drop out of college, but I want you to just really think long and hard and reach out and talk to other people and see if that degree is necessary. See if that degree will actually lead to lucrative outcomes for you, because we need money to survive in this world. And, you know, I just wanted to kind of share my experience as someone who has all these great things that people project that I'll do with my life. And even I find myself in a situation where I'm asking myself, in all honesty, after all this work that I've done for this degree, how is this degree working for me now?
Oh yeah, Didi got a podcast.